Imagine a disease so swift, so utterly terrifying, it could claim a life in mere hours, leaving no discernible trace but a body soaked in its own final, suffocating sweat. For decades, this was the grim reality of Tudor England, caught in the grip of an elusive killer, the sweating sickness, or as it was chillingly known, Sudor Anglicus. Welcome to Echoes of Time, your portal to the forgotten pages of history, where we delve into the past to better understand the present. Today, we journey back to an age of burgeoning empires and profound scientific ignorance to uncover the chilling story of England's most baffling medical mystery, a plague that vanished as mysteriously as it first appeared, leaving centuries of questions in its wake. This is the tale of a scourge unlike any other, a pervasive fear that haunted generations, yet remains one of history's most enigmatic puzzles, its true nature lost to the dust of centuries. The year is 1485. England is teetering on the brink of a new era. The War of the Roses, a brutal dynastic struggle, is finally drawing to a close. Henry Tudor, claimant to the throne, has landed in Wales, gathering forces as he marches towards Bosworth Field, a confrontation that will forever alter the course of English history.
With him, he brings not only his army, but, unwittingly, an unseen terror. As his forces swept through the countryside, something else began to sweep through the population. A sickness so rapid and so deadly that it defied all known medical understanding. This was the first recorded outbreak of the sweating sickness, an insidious malady that would terrorize the nation not once, but 5 distinct times before disappearing without a trace, a ghost in the annals of time. From its very onset, the sweating sickness presented itself as a profoundly unique and terrifying adversary. Unlike the bubonic plague, which left its gruesome, visible telltale buboes, Sudor Anglicus offered no such obvious clues. Its progression was disturbingly swift, often measured in mere hours rather than days. A person, seemingly healthy one moment, could be gripped by a sudden, intense wave of chills. This initial shiver would be quickly followed by a debilitating dizziness, a profound weakness that threatened to buckle the knees, and a throbbing headache that felt as if the skull itself might split. Then the signature symptom would emerge, a profound, suffocating sweat.
It was not merely a dampness, but an overwhelming deluge, a relentless outpouring from every pore, accompanied by a fever that soared to unimaginable heights. Victims would often be overcome by an oppressive lethargy, an irresistible desire to sleep, a sleep from which many would never awaken. The speed of decline was horrifying. An individual could be laughing at dinner only to be dead by dawn. The official records speak of people succumbing within 24 hours of the first symptoms, a brutal efficiency that left communities reeling in terror and despair. This horrifying swiftness rendered physicians of the era utterly bewildered. Their understanding of disease was rudimentary, often rooted in humoral theory, a framework utterly incapable of explaining such a rapid, symptomatically distinct affliction. They tried purges, bleeding, various herbal concoctions, but nothing seemed to stem the tide. The disease mocked their every effort, its victims slipping away almost before any intervention could be attempted. The lack of visible signs, the absence of the characteristic lesions or sores associated with other known diseases, compounded the mystery, denying them any tangible enemy to study or dissect.
It was a phantom menace, striking from within, leaving only a sweat-soaked corpse as evidence of its passage. The sweating sickness carved a bloody path through England, leaving decimated towns and villages in its wake. Imagine the panic gripping a community as neighbor after neighbor fell ill, the air thick with fear and the knowledge that death could strike anyone at any moment. The highly contagious nature of the disease meant that families were ravaged, entire households wiped out. Its terrifying mortality rate, speculated to be extremely high, meant that once symptoms manifested, hope was often fleeting. Generations lived with the pervasive fear of its return, a shadow lurking just beyond the horizon of their daily lives. Even the highest echelons of society were not immune. The royal court, a supposed bastion of privilege and protection, felt its icy grip. King Henry VIII himself, a figure synonymous with power and authority, narrowly escaped its clutches on at least one occasion. Perhaps more famously, his second wife, Anne Boleyn, also contracted the illness, surviving only by sheer fortitude or perhaps a touch of luck.
The fact that such powerful figures, surrounded by the best physicians and resources available, could be afflicted speaks volumes about the indiscriminate and terrifying reach of Tudor Anglicus. The royal court would often flee London during outbreaks, seeking refuge in the countryside, a stark testament to the terror it inspired even among the most privileged. Despite its devastating impact within England and certain parts of mainland Europe, particularly the Low Countries and regions of Germany where it made sporadic, though less widespread appearances, the sweating sickness never truly became a global pandemic like the Black Death. Its geographical limitations are another layer to its enigmatic nature. Why did it rage so fiercely in England, yet struggle to establish itself elsewhere? Was it a combination of specific environmental factors, unique societal conditions, or perhaps a pathogen that simply did not thrive in other climates? These questions remain unanswered, contributing to the profound sense of mystery surrounding its behavior. After its initial terrifying debut in 1485, the sweating sickness returned with cruel regularity. It reappeared in 1507, then again in 1517, each time unleashing fresh waves of panic and death.
The 1528 outbreak was particularly severe, leaving a deep scar on the collective memory of the nation. But it was its final, devastating resurgence in 1551 that marked its dramatic and utterly conclusive exit from the stage of history. After 5 distinct outbreaks spanning 66 years, terrorizing 3 successive monarchs and multiple generations, the sweating sickness simply disappeared. It vanished as mysteriously as it arrived, leaving behind no known descendants, no lingering pockets of infection, only bewildered doctors, devastated families, and a profound historical void. Centuries later, the scientific community continues to grapple with its identity. The lack of definitive pathological evidence, combined with the rapid decay of bodies in the Tudor era, means there are no tissue samples, no DNA to analyze, no microscopic clues to reveal its true nature. This absence of forensic evidence has fueled intense speculation, making the sweating sickness a compelling case study for epidemiologists and historians alike, a tantalizing puzzle waiting to be solved. One prominent theory posits that the sweating sickness could have been a potent form of hantavirus.
Hantaviruses are a group of rodent-borne viruses that can cause severe respiratory and hemorrhagic symptoms in humans, often associated with a rapid onset and high mortality. Proponents of this theory suggest that specific environmental conditions prevalent in Tudor England, perhaps changes in rodent populations, agricultural practices, or housing conditions, could have aligned perfectly to create a scenario ripe for hantavirus transmission. The symptoms of some hantavirus infections, particularly the sudden onset of fever, chills, and profound malaise, bear a superficial resemblance to historical descriptions. However, the unique suffocating sweat and the rapid, seemingly un-hantavirus-like progression of the disease still leave significant gaps in this explanation. Another compelling theory suggests that Sudor Anglicus was an exceptionally virulent strain of influenza. We know that influenza viruses are notorious for their ability to mutate rapidly, producing novel strains that can wreak havoc before human immune systems can adapt. It's plausible that a particularly deadly mutation emerged during the Tudor period, one that caused the intense sweating and rapid collapse described.
Such a strain might have thrived in the crowded, often unsanitary conditions of 15th and 16th century England, only to then mutate again into a less virulent form, or simply die out due to a lack of susceptible hosts or changing environmental factors. The rapid spread and seasonal patterns of some outbreaks do align with influenza, but again, the singular, overwhelming sweating remains a difficult symptom to attribute solely to known influenza strains. Some scholars and medical researchers have also speculated about more obscure possibilities. Could it have been linked to specific environmental toxins? The Tudor era was a time of burgeoning industry, rudimentary sanitation, and a reliance on natural resources that could, unknowingly, expose populations to harmful substances. Perhaps a fungus, a contaminated food source, or even a particular plant toxin, combined with other factors, could have mimicked the symptoms. This theory, while intriguing, struggles with the epidemic nature of the disease and its widespread impact across different geographic areas within England.
And then there is the most unsettling, yet perhaps simplest explanation, that the sweating sickness was an entirely novel pathogen, a unique biological entity that emerged, thrived for a relatively brief but devastating period, and then simply went extinct. In the vast, complex ecosystem of our planet, new pathogens are constantly evolving, and old ones are disappearing. Could Sudor Anglicus have been a fleeting but deadly experiment of nature, a unique biological entity that, for reasons we may never fully comprehend, simply ran its course and vanished, leaving no trace for modern science to follow? This idea, while offering a sense of closure, underscores the profound limitations of historical epidemiology, a field grappling with shadows and echoes. The lack of definitive answers only deepens the intrigue surrounding the sweating sickness. It stands as a stark reminder of humanity's vulnerability in the face of the unknown, a medical mystery that continues to baffle us centuries after its last victim drew a final gasping breath. As we piece together the fragmented evidence from historical accounts, the desperate pleas of chroniclers, the bewildered notes of physicians, the somber records of perished deaths, we are left with a powerful narrative of fear, resilience, and unanswered questions.
On Echoes of Time, we strive to bring these forgotten stories to light, not just for their historical drama, but for the profound lessons they might hold. The story of Sudor Anglicus is more than just a historical footnote. It is a compelling case study that continues to challenge our understanding of disease emergence, spread, and disappearance. It forces us to confront the limits of our knowledge, to acknowledge that even in an age of advanced science, some secrets of the past may remain forever beyond our grasp. What if this forgotten plague, with its unique characteristics and enigmatic vanishing act, holds lessons for future outbreaks, for pathogens yet to emerge? Could understanding the conditions that allowed Sudor Anglicus to thrive, or conversely to disappear, offer insights into our own ongoing battle against evolving diseases? The echo of the sweating sickness resonates through the ages, a chilling reminder that history's greatest mysteries are often its most profound teachers, urging us to look beyond what is known and into the vast expanse of what remains unsolved. What if, hidden within the forgotten history of England's most elusive killer, lies a key to understanding the future of global health?